Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome back. Welcome back. Ooh, brilliant intro. Look at that. That's a nice welcome.
what's a
And
brilliant
Adam
intro?
was like, "The hell is this?" I get it, Adam. It's been a while. It's been a while. How are you? And how is Jenner? We've got a busy stream. And Sakoria is a first time chat. Hello. Hello. Welcome in. Your voice isn't that high pitched. It's not. Sorry. I'm. My imitations aren't my top game today. Also, welcome aboard, Gib. I almost I'm taking it for granted that you're
Oh,
here
fuck
now.
me.
It's
Who
like
gives
I'm
a
not
shit? I
even.
don't care.
I'm like, well, I'm so used to talking to you, like almost on a daily basis. I mean, it's either a call or a chat. We speak to each other so often. Ooh, and we got a follower. Thanks for the follow, Sakuria. Welcome aboard. You actually dropped in a pretty special stream today because, first of all, I know I haven't been streaming for a couple of weeks. It's just because I'm swamped with
I
work on
blame you.
illustrations. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's all your fault because I need to illustrate your book. Um, but it's been super, super busy. And actually, now that we're ramping up towards the launch day of our IndieGogo project, we both figured it's time for another stream. So, Gib is back. So, hi, Gib. Welcome back.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, and this is what we're gonna do today, right? Streaming, art, Technomancer,
I'm not
talking with
seeing anything on your stream. It is just the starting at 25 screen.
starting in 25 screen. No.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at Twitch right now, and all it says is starting at 25. I'm not seeing any actual us.
That's weird. How's chat? What is chat seeing? Let's ask chat. Gym without headphones, so I'm only gonna half pay attention. That's fine, Adam. No worries. Workout is workout is good.
Well, but
So
he
whoever is
can't.
in, okay, it's fine. That's perfect. Thanks for checking. Thanks for troubleshooting for a second there. Um, right. So Technomancer, Gabe, I'm looking at you because that's your brain, baby.
Right, I'm looking at the screen. I'm not seeing anything.
Well, don't look at the screen. Just come up with. No, I don't know. What's going on then? I mean, it should be good.
I mean, I'm refreshing Twitch to see if it like there's actually anything there.
Just don't refresh
All right,
the guest screen because
no,
that'll
no, I
fuck things
refresh
up.
Twitch. Okay, now I see it. Okay, we're
There
good to
you
go.
go. Right. So what are we doing? What are
I
we
don't
actually
know.
doing?
We're just
I
we're
don't know.
begging and we're asking people to like pay attention to us or some shit.
Are
I
we?
don't know.
Are
Also,
we really
my
begging?
delay is great. One,
Is it?
two, three.
No, but that's fine. That's perfect. It will be synchronized in the actual stream. Don't worry about that. It should be good because
One,
we're
two,
doing the.
three.
No, stop it. Stop your. We're fine. This is so much fun for everybody who tuned in for the very very first time. Um, we swear we stream
All right, all right,
sometimes.
all right.
We know what we're doing. But wait, you hear me real time, or is there a delay between what you're hearing as
I
well?
hear you in real time. I'm
Ah,
looking
that's perfect.
like on the Twitch actual stream is like
Yeah.
I don't know, 10 seconds behind.
Yeah, but that's normal. I mean, that's what people see. That's not what is being like recorded or broadcasted. So you're good. You're fine. Really, I swear you're fine.
All right,
Why,
that's fine.
why
I
are
mean,
my
like I'm
brushes
old
so
and
shiny?
technology confuses me. Okay, let's just go with that. So
Fair enough. What a mess. And why is it we always start in chaos? Why is it never just a hi guys, welcome back to the stream and this is what's happening? It's always
well,
like
because
what the
that's the
fuck is that?
book. The book is a world. Because the book is a world of chaos. See that segue? That's how you do it right.
All right, I like what you did there. So what chaos? Why is this book really chaos though? I mean, there of course there is a lot of stuff happening and going on, but there's moments of chaos. I wouldn't say the whole book is chaos.
Well, no, I would say this for those who don't know what this book is, what Sandy is illustrating, the project we're working on. I wrote this. I had a fever dream about a long, many years ago about the idea of a world that is basically like almost like every anime ever, hell took over. But for me, it's like I grew up in the church. I grew up religious, and my religious standpoint is I'm very agnostic these days. But Revelation scared the shit out of me as a kid because there's this whole concept of like, well, there's going to come a period where like Jesus is going to come back and everything's going to happen, and then they're going to all leave, and then hell's going to take over, and it'll be 1,000 years of darkness run by demons, and that scared me so bad as a kid because I'm like, I'm not that good a kid. Well, but the idea sat in the back of my head for years and years and years and years, and like I tinkered with playing with writing all that stuff. But when I actually sat down to write the story, I wanted a world where I love urban fantasy, for example. Who doesn't love a good Dresden or that the Iron Druid or anything Patricia Briggs does? But I don't bring anything new to that space as a writer. It's already been done and done better by better people. So I said, well, why can't I make my own space? Well, the thing is, but so if I make my own space, so what if I wrote in a post-apocalypse? Say I love cyberpunk, I love magic, I love supernatural. Why can't I blend them all together? And that's what this started to become. Mm-hmm. So in a world that's, following the biblical apocalypse, hell has taken over. Mankind is now the working class for the demons. I'm like, oh man. So like, and what would that world look like? So what would morality look like? Would people care? And like, that's why I started coming up with ideas for things like murder permits and lethality license and larceny license.
That one. The murder permits were good.
Well, but that because it started to make sense in my head because it's like, well, if demons are running things, there's no such thing as like morality. And like, I don't want to get into any of the darker sins, but like, if you want to kill a motherfucker, kill him. Just prove your worth is better than theirs and get a permit.
But what I like about that is that it makes the right people better and it makes bad people worse. Because everybody who just decides that you cannot just go on murdering people, I mean, how good does it make a person if they are strong enough to resist their urge of smacking someone in the face with a chair?
Well, it's like it's one of those like if you have a cheating spouse, for example, there's no like niceness, there's no therapy sessions. This is a world where it's like if you get sick, it's your fault. You've got to go to work. So either get a cybernetic upgrade or do something. So you got a cheating spouse, and like okay, I don't cheat. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm either going to kill you or your lover. So you go after let's see what go after the lover. Like, so you find the person, how much do they make? You cover their year's salary, and then get a permit and go whack them. It's all you. It's not illegal. So but the book isn't about that. Those are just the background things this is lore. Make this world fleshed out. Yeah, it just fleshes the world out. So, and what would people be like? How would they act? What would they be like? So they'd be a little downtrodden. You watch them the old propaganda movies from from the different eras of various fascism reigns and things like that. You look at the downtrodden, look at East Berlin prior to the wall going down. And you get these idea of what the working people were and the higher levels were doing. And if the demons are the ones sitting at the aristocracy and the police force, a few humans who made some money could buy their way up. Mm-hmm. And I started playing these ideas and so. These were all cool ideas, but I didn't have a story yet. So what is my story? And that's where the character Salem was born. Someone who lived through all of that. They lived through when after the biblical apocalypse, fought in the wars, and now exists now due to his technological upgrades. He doesn't relate to anybody else. So he's just kind of I'm an island unto myself. He made his money smuggling and doing all these horrible things. But how do you take a story where someone who's so worldly and show them a world that they don't know? And that doesn't work in a lot of stories. There's a reason the monomyth exists, why a Luke Skywalker or a Frodo type character exists, because they don't know the world outside of their own little insular spot. You need a guide. So if you take a worldly person and introduce them to someone who's the secondary character in the book, Father Grimm, who's a mage that's even older and knows way more than Salem does, he gets to expose this guy who thought he knew everything to a world he never even knew existed.
Is he really a secondary character?
Well, he's the second main character. How about that? If Salem, if Salem, it's a first person perspective through Salem.
Start again. I'm sorry. because I made a mess
What?
and I'm just
You have to
trying to
start what?
fix this shit and it's just not working. So, because I started off, I'm sorry, completely interrupting here. And also, by the way,
No, no,
hi,
no, no.
Queen
It's
of
okay.
Eagles. Hi, I'm sorry it took me a long while to see your message there, but welcome aboard. And you just tuned into the moment where I actually opened my file and immediately it started working in the wrong layer. And like, while Gib was talking for the last, what, 5 minutes, I've been trying to fix the very start of my illustration and I just realized, like,
Well, I was
fuck it.
watching that as you were going, and like
I
my
know,
voice
it's
started going
horrible.
a little faster as you're working, and I'm like, "Oh God, what is she doing? You're
I
erasing."
don't know what I was doing, man, and I'm just gonna start. Let's try that again. Welcome back to the stream, guys. It's been a while. Oh shit! All right,
Technomancer, it's a fucking
sorry.
book, you know.
Just get the book. It'll be worth it. Okay, so Grim is not a secondary character; he's a second main character. Yeah. Oh, I mean, okay. Continue from there.
Yes. Well, since
What
the
a
book
mess.
is from Salem's point of view, since the book is from Salem's point of view,
Yeah.
I consider, obviously he's the protagonist. He's the main
Yeah.
character. He's how we experience this world and the emotions and the actions, etc., etc. I call Grimm a secondary character because he's just not the main point of view.
Yeah. No.
But he is very much a main character in the book itself. So. I know how much you love him, so I'm not trying to downplay that action, and
That's
it's,
fine.
so when I started working on this idea of like who these characters would be, like I have an undying love for classic buddy cop 80s movie type things, Tango and
Miami
Cash
Vice.
and,
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon, and so
Yeah.
seeing this like platonic love of these two type people like going through these experiences together and the bonds that are formed, like, nah, yeah, that's shitty. I eat that shit up. So I'm like, okay, can I put that in this world? And when I first started writing it, it was way more dark, way more gritty, way more depressing. And I didn't, it might have made a few people happy, but it didn't make me happy because despite the world being gloomy and dark and depressing and all those things, I wanted something else. So I always go back to the very first movie I ever saw in the theater when I was a child was Star Wars. Before it was renamed to New Hope, it was Star Wars. And that has been like the biggest like influence on my life because it's like, here's this world. It doesn't hold your hand. It like you're just in it. You're in this world. There's space. They don't explain what a Kessel Run is. This is like they don't really go into like Jedi and the order. Like here's a lightsaber. These are storm Nazi stormtroopers. It's go 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 go.
And you digest it. Yeah.
And your brain fills in the gaps, and that's the beautiful thing. So I write in a very visual style. So everything I write is very cinematic, and it's the way I want it to come across. So when people are reading it, I had to do a few exposition dumps, and that's the first time writing a book. You try to avoid those topics. You can't help it, but sometimes it has to happen.
Yes.
But once you get those out of the way, you learn by doing. The world is built as the characters experience the world, and that's my favorite style of like whether that's I'm watching something, whether I'm reading something or listening to an audiobook.
When you started writing and you were like, "Oh, this is exposition dump. This is all just whatever," and you were afraid that was not really going to help you as a writer, and now 10 years later, 10-ish years later, here you are with an illustrated version of the book, pretty much because you did all the visual info dumps, because I devour that stuff for breakfast because I will need it for
like my biggest info dump, I think the exposition dump came like, I think it was like chapter 3 or 4 when he's sitting on top before the mechanical ants and he's having he's like that, yes. He's having that memory thinking back to like when the biblical apocalypse started.
Yes.
Where he was at, what he was doing and what happened to the world. And that was like his like quasi flashback. And I was also kind of writing it in that early noir detective pulp style, constantly smoking sentence fragments, kind of like smoky vibe thing. Yeah. And it still holds true, but I always write with like the idea of hope. And like Star Wars, like you can't have hope unless things are dark. Hope doesn't exist in a sunny day. Hope doesn't exist when you're walking in the park. Hope exists when it's winter and it's cold and it's dark and the electricity might go out. That's when you have to have hope. And that's the struggle is what makes for compelling drama. And a joke or two doesn't hurt, some gallows humor here and there. So there
was a lot of humor in these books, really. At least that's what I think. This book made me laugh out loud for more than a couple of times.
Well, I mean, for something that's not a direct comedy, there is a
For
lot of
sure.
humor in it, but I
Yes.
think it's because it, when you're dealing with such horrible, horrible things, I mean, you know, you can't help but put a little bit of yourself into your characters. If I'm the first person at a funeral to tell a joke because that's how I deal with it. You know,
Yes.
I have to like, you know, like I'll look at the body of a loved one and like, did they put underwear on them? You know, because I have to
Yeah,
before I break
it's your
down
way
and
of
lose it.
coping. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my coping mechanism. So, you know, and that's the kind of shit I put into Salem. Like,
Mm.
can he crack a joke in the middle of the badness? Not in a Deadpool way, but in a way that like it's there's beneath the surface is, are they hanging on to their sanity? You know, and that's how you do it. Because like when your life is one of like, you know, the average person living in this world is like, I work or else. That's it.
Mm.
You know, and where are you? And that's all you got. You know, you can go out to a bar, you have a life, you can do things, but if you're not productive, you're cast out of the cities, and people that who are cast out of the cities don't last long.
No.
You know.
So, tell me a little bit more about how, or tell chat a little bit more about these demons, because you said, okay, so they live together in the same world. You know,
Yeah.
there's been a pretty big war, and they now have sort of have settled into
Okay.
a form of balance. But the way I read the book, they're just overpowered humans, who
Yeah.
are abusing real humans for their own good. But how does that chemistry work?
All right. So the way I see the balance in my head, and hopefully it comes through better in the books because I'm all ADD and like I have to sit down and write this shit out. Um, uh, the wars initially were chaotic
Mm-hmm.
when basically the gates to hell opened up and everything flooded in. It was just pure chaos. It's kind of like, imagine a zombie apocalypse, except the zombies were just in your house, outside, everywhere. There wasn't a slow creep. It just boom, it's on.
Mm-hmm.
And how do people react? There is no military pushback. There is no chance to set up like defense networks. People tried and they failed. You know, we fought two major wars against the demons and failed both times because
Mm-hmm.
when something is, you know, the average demon's between 7 and 8 feet tall. You know, the average demon is, you
They're
know, 2 to 3
huge.
times stronger than you,
Yeah.
2 to 3 times faster than you. They live double your lifespan. They don't get sick, you know, but they do bleed, and that was a shock to them and us. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I think that's why they fought so hard. Now they've transubstantiated. They are now flesh. They're no longer things from
Yeah.
hell or a
They're not
plane or another
gods in
dimension.
any case. Yeah.
No, they're not gods anymore. But there are those who. So the way I always kind of put it is like, demons have obviously powers that they've
Mm-hmm.
gotten either from soul bartering or deals or people that have gone to hell. And there's like, I love the old books on like the hierarchy of the angels and demons, and I've read a bunch of those. So you've got all these like, you know, the royal courts is like a bishop, and this person's a marquis, and this person is a duke, and all that kind of cool shit. And so I have like, basically I did my demons after the seven deadly sins. So there are seven classifications of demons,
Mm-hmm.
and what kind of demon you are determines what kind of like skills you might have. Or,
Yeah.
you know, wrath demons are going to be a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger. They're usually four armed. They tend to be orange and black. I kind of tiger type colors. You know, sloth demons are ones that they're not lazy. They actually, I'm using this word properly, they retard your natural abilities to like achieve anything. They slow you
Yes.
down. They make you not gain your best self. You
Mm-hmm.
know, lust demons are self-explanatory. Greed's
But I
self-explanatory.
do like
Gluttony
that
was fun
because
because gluttony's
basically
not.
you're picking up a trope and you're turning it into something entirely new. I mean, usually, like also with the gluttony demon, you know, with Maz, most
Mhm.
people will associate the gluttony with like he's gonna be super fat and he's gonna eat and eat and
Right.
eat. But then you explain that gluttony has so much more to do with just greed, or not necessarily greed, just a constant hunger for
It's consumption, it's
anything. Yeah,
consuming, it's
exactly.
taking,
Yeah.
it's opulence. The
Yeah.
reason
It's
Maz is so
callous.
skinny is, imagine he's, well, yeah, basically, but I imagine Maz more like, the reason I had him all lanky and thin is because he's more like a tapeworm. Consume always, never getting bigger.
I'm sorry that was an atomic wheeze, but a tapeworm is the right fucking word. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and that's so that's the thing is like, when you have a tapeworm, you're constantly hungry, constantly hungry, constantly hungry, but you're not getting any bigger because this thing is this
Can I have one?
this gluttony. Yeah,
I would
this
love
gluttony
that.
thing is yeah.
Sorry.
There was a thing in Korea when I was stationed in Korea. They had some people in their pharmacies where you could like we weren't allowed to as American troops over there, but you could go to some of their pharmacies and get a pill to basically get a tapeworm and lose some weight, and then take a second pill to kill the tapeworm. That's a real thing. Look it up.
So it's like you also get it with the anti-worm, like you get the thing. But
Yeah,
you also
you get the
red.
second pill for the medicine that would kill it, and you would pass it. I
But
guess
then,
that's the nicest way of saying it.
I mean, I have so many questions. I really do have. So I'm not sure if we should go.
You Google this on your time.
Yes. AliExpress, and then just order yourself a brand new tapeworm. This is awful. This is insane. Also, I wave into the camera, but hi crypto. Welcome aboard.
Crypto, what's up?
You've joined. Yeah, it's the crypto. It's the crypto. The crypto.
The
we know.
crypto.
The crypto.
Dude, I'm good. How are you?
And now is the awkward silent wait for someone to type how they are.
Wait, type
I
something.
hate that between.
How are you guys? That is.
How are you guys? And I
Okay,
just-
he's good. Thanks.
Perfect. Dude, that was
But so yeah,
fast.
when I do these demons, then I also like not everything's a demon because like, well, what comes after? Because if you've got like these like, I look at the hierarchy, so you've got like there's only one king of hell, and that's Lucifer. So you've got the princes, who are the other six deadly sins, and then after that come all types of demons. I figure demons would be like how do you tell them apart? Well, they would have probably like wings, something like a very visual based. They would see it, but then like what comes under that, and like kind of generic hellion, like creatures from hell that. I think I put it in the book as like inbred cousins because you can't fuck your cousin so many times and not think good things are going to happen. So it's like, so generic, modeled skin, so they could look like anything an artist's brain could come up with could be a hellion. You would slap some claws on a human, like a crab claws with a beak face and squid tentacle legs. Sure, do it, hellion. I don't care.
Why did we never design a hellion? I just realized that
because you didn't ask till now. So. And I didn't push it. So because they're so because like I use well because there's such a generic thing because it's like not everything. I wanted the word demon to have some weight to it because those are the more powerful things.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Honestly, though, go ahead.
I'm just thinking like there's this scene at the end where they are in Abraxas's palace and all the parties come together. Are they the minions, the soldiers, are those hellions or are those demons then? I never really
No, I know. I imagine.
Second of thought.
Well, I think I put them I call them hell forces. So it's like I think there was a mix of human response troops mixed with hellions. Hellions are good for muscle because I imagine they're kind of like the I'm trying to think like your orcs, your ogres, your kind of like generic fantasy race type of like. They're good for like muscle and enforcement and carrying out simple orders, but delicate things, you probably want to put a demon in charge of that. There's a reason in the opening, like Mads has 3 hellions with him to go after Salem.
Yeah.
Because they're just enforcer level guys. The brains is Mads. So
what I kind of think or feel like, and this is all just me looking at this book in retrospect. I mean, I've read this book more times than I care to
several
admit
times
at this point. Yeah. Yes. But there's I think about this book in layers. Like there's always something new to give thought. And now that we're talking about these demons and minions and hellions and whatever they have, it almost feels like in the very first chapters, you were still very much in the process of discovering that hierarchy yourself as a writer as well. And I don't mean that in a nasty way, but like the further you come in the book, the further you find that evolution sort of picks up and becomes more natural in a way.
Oh, trust me, like until it's printed, I'm constantly editing I'm trying to tweak it and make it work just that much better. I would love to say I had a grand plan from the moment before I ever put pen to paper, and that's a lie. That's a damn dirty lie if I said it. So sometimes I'll get to like I'm doing something in book 5, like, wait a minute, I have to go back to book 1 or 2 and like, shit, this is what I said. Okay, how do I massage this now to make it work? Because the story hasn't changed. I know where the story's been going from day 1 to day day 1 to day 0, day 100, what last day. But sometimes certain aspects of the world, I'm like, okay, I need something that can work here that doesn't feel like it's bolted on, because I have a lot of things that were planned that you can always tell when something's been added onto a story, and it sucks because it's like if someone has always had a secret power or a secret person over here, where were they at, and why couldn't they use those skills in the beginning? And that kind of sucks. So it's I don't want to do that with my stories. I still want to tell a very human story, especially in the Technomancer, where I wanted like action, I wanted adventure, I wanted humor, I wanted heart, I wanted a dark world, and I wanted hope above all of the things. And that's, like I said, that's been my revolving theme. So when I got to I think it was book 3 before I ever introduced angels, because where have they been? And I had to put them in a very specific place, and in a way that like they haven't been flying around, they haven't been helping people, because in a world where God has stepped aside and let nature take its course here, I imagine it would be like your parents just tossing you aside saying good luck. You don't have that parental guidance, you don't have that overseer, you are on your own for the first time in all of creation. How do you behave? What do you do? And I imagine like some of them would like go crazy, if you've always been a follower and never having autonomy, to be finally given your freedom, how do you cope? And we try to put human mind onto inhuman things, and we would just act this way. That can work, but again, take the humanity out of it. Take something that was never human, doesn't experience things through a human's eyes, minds, and senses, and try to tell them, go forth and be, and how do they know what to be? So it was fun playing with that as well. But I had to wait a while for angels to come back, and I wanted a very specific reason for that.
So 2 questions based on the angels. First of all, Adam asks, so surely the angels were at Dante's. No comments? Or comments?
Layers like oak.
Also, my question is, the angels, weren't the Norse gods a form of angels?
In this series, yes. So because I didn't want to say that Judeo-Christianity was the religion that I was following for the sake, I'm using this as a roadmap, for the lack of better words, because of the ubiquity of Judeo-Christian, and to a degree, various parts of Islam, which also have a lot of roots in the Old Testament. I wanted to, I had to kind of use the urban fantasy thing of creating a get out of jail free card. So whenever I looked at a lot of world religions, whether that was the Norse, whether that was some of the Chinese, some of the Japanese, some of the Native American, you always have these gods. Boom, boom, boom. The god of blank, god of blank, god of blank. They're like action figures. You got to collect them all. I want the trading. I want the cards. I want the paperbacks. But every single one of these religions has something that comes before. Let's use the Greeks for a moment. Before the gods came the Titans. Before the Titans, there were the primordials. Because there were things like Nyx and I'm going to say it wrong, Chthon, Chthon, Chiton, whatever it is. Basically, the primordial earth deity, Nyx, night. You've got all these bigger concept primordial things. So
Kronos was one of them as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, Cronus was a Titan at the time, but even Cronus came from Uranus, who came from Gaia, who came from, so you can go all the way farther back. My point is, I started thinking about that concept. So this posits that a higher being that we're just going to call God came into this plane of reality and said, light be, let there be light, and it pushed the dark things away, whether that was, which I have a little Cthulhu-esque things going on there. It was like the antithesis to created light to push away the dark. But to do so, it had to create what I called its fingers. This God created its light, time, entropy, these cosmic concepts that became the first angels. And then these angels beget another level. So you got these lesser power, like more powerful than us, but lesser power, like next tier, and became the archangels. So the children of light were Michael and Lucifer. One is light, one is dark. You can't have light without shadow. And so I figured and then these next generations of angels, and So when God was going to create the Garden of Eden, or his first pocket of humanity, the angels came to God and said, can we create as well? And God said, sure, but it has to be in this form that I call human, so I can give it a soul. So that way, every religion is technically right. They are all derivative of the same family tree. So when the Norse created theirs, fantastic. It's because they're telling stories of titans and primordials, and the repetitive pattern happens to be there. So
Exactly
yes,
doing the same,
even
yeah.
like, so they're all descendant of some angelic-like power that one side might call angels, one side might call the Norse Aesir or the Vanir. It's the same. It's different names for the same thing.
I love how you said Asir. It's so American.
Acer? What is it? Acer?
Asir?
Asir?
The Asir.
Ass
It's
here.
a long I. It's
Ass
not
here.
Asir. No, Asir. It's the Asir. Well, let's not dive into the linguistic stuff of Dutch and English.
No. What do you call it? Gutter German? Is that what you speak?
What? Go to German?
What?
No.
Gutter German.
Oh, gutter German. Don't tell. Do we have any Germans in the chat? Please no.
or do Germans speak gutter Dutch? I don't know which is the right way.
We always call German dyslexic Dutch. But don't ever. I will deny everything.
It's on camera. You can't.
Shit. Oh, hey, Autumn Ray's back. Hello. How are you doing? Welcome back to the stream. It's been a while.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Yeah. Have you?
Thursday.
You have received the little booklet, didn't you, Autumn? Have you read it? How did you like it? Uh-oh, Adam speaks German.
Wait. Just fantastic.
Nice. It's
Gutter Danish.
You know what, Crypto? That is true. But then again, Danish is cool, so I'll take it.
I mean, that's not the same thing? Oh, no,
Sorry,
I guess it
what's
is in
that?
Danish, Dutch. I guess it is. Anything that's not
Danish,
American, we don't care. So,
no. Chaos. All right, yeah. It's different. Let's just stick with different. He knows.
yeah, it's just different.
It's just different. We are different people. We speak different languages. There. Fixed it. Fixed the problem.
That is true.
Yes. I do like, just to double that back down on the subject, there are so many things, like people who just come into the stream might listen to this and go, angels, demons, well, that's trope after trope after trope. But then you listen to it, and these things aren't tropey at all. Like, I've read a lot of books, I've written a lot of books, and I don't think I have ever come across someone who works with angels and demons the way you've done here. Like, I think if there's one thing super unique about the whole Technomancer series, or in any case, the first book, because that's pretty much what we're talking about now. It's the way how you've, in one way, humanized that which is definitely not human, but at the same time created a form of a very expansive civilization and a hierarchy, and just, I don't know, that you turn it into something tangible without making it religious or without making it, I don't know, it's just very special.
Oh, well, I truly do appreciate that. I like to think it was like because of my greatness, and it wasn't. It was because I was lazy. I could have tried if I'd been a better writer with more research and not some internet wannabe. I would have developed like 200 years of like pop culture and 200 years of language and 200 years of like of evolution, and I just didn't have it in me to do that, so I cheated. And so when hell rose, like I said, well, if God's out of the picture, then there's no new souls coming in. So that's it. So what's left is left. So every time a parent has a kid, they get a sliver of the soul, and a sliver becomes a sliver becomes a sliver. So people are very soulless. And without a soul, without that divine inspiration, that divine spark, you kind of like fall into routine. It's kind of like just being in a bad relationship where you're just going through the motions, and that's
But
so
if they
they
don't
fell
have a
back on
soul,
old world.
sorry, I have the habit of interrupting you because I have instant questions.
No, 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 you're fine.
But if they
No,
don't
no, that's
have a
fine.
soul, like if they have like all these tiny slivers of soul, which I know that that's the case,
Yeah.
are they capable of feeling unhappy in the way things are? Like because they are practically being used as slaves, but are they?
Well,
Do
okay,
they have the
okay.
sensation
So
of?
I would say that's a very good question, and I'll answer it this way.
Mm,
Um, have you ever used the expression "this crushes my soul"? My soul is feeling crushed
oh
right
yeah.
now. What does that emotion feel like to you?
It's very unhappy. If my
Right.
soul is being
So
crushed, this is like the my top shelf unhappiness.
right. So there are those who the soul, just because you have a sliver doesn't mean it can't grow. But it's kind of like being I'll use American politics for the moment. It's like living in a very bad neighborhood and coming from generations of poverty, and told, "Well, just feel happy, get better. Why can't you just pull yourself up?"
Mm,
Like, well, because there's nothing around me that empowers me or uplifts me to do these things.
yeah.
And that's kind of how the demons want it. They want you to feel like you can't climb, and those that do get snatched up and they're the ones who get sent off to the big factories to like make new products that everybody has to buy, or go work at the universities,
Yeah.
or those who have shown a little bit of spark and growth are identified and taken away and given like a better life, but also put to work.
So
Salem
that's
has
pretty
flown
much
under the radar
why
for all this time.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much why the people in Midheim are like when they sing songs and when they are genuinely happier people. They have more soul than I would say people in
A
the
hundred
Golgotha
percent,
and
a
the Hill.
hundred
Yeah.
percent. Because yeah, when you're working for somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
like when you are day in
Which I
day
am.
out working
Yeah.
for somebody else, yeah, there comes that point where it's like, what am I doing with my life? I'm just working to make someone else rich. We've all had those moments, and those are very human moments. The people of Midheim work for themselves. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they are a hippie commune to a degree, but like they grow their food because they need it. They protect their walls because it's their community.
Mm-hmm.
They hunt because they have to, but then they revel. They take time to revel and be human, and have, if your work's done for the day, have a drink, have a laugh, have a
Mm-hmm.
smoke, talk to your friends, and they haven't forgotten what it means to be human. So when Salem meets them, and like it almost hurts him, because to see people living this way, it's but they can't live in large scales that way, because it's like you can get a couple thousand people together in this commune, but if it gets bigger and bigger, then more laws, more murder, more things, is the
Mm-hmm.
human element eventually takes over. When you do studies of like how little pockets of like societies can work together, it's great, but when it gets too big, it becomes that inevitably someone's like, I don't want to work, but I'm just going to get taken care of anyway. So, and that's where you get into the whole like communism versus capitalism argument, et
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
cetera, et cetera. I'm not
Yeah.
going into
Yeah.
that with these books. I just kind of like hand wave a little bit and just show that people can uplift themselves, but they have to literally like find like-minded people and work together. Because that's, I mean, isn't that what this is like? What this whole thing we're working on right now is a collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
of us working together. How many times have we had come together like at weird times to like, hey, look at this picture, look at this thing.
Hey,
Does this
for
work?
me,
Does this
mostly
not
these
work? Like,
times are okay. I think the weird times are are mainly for you weird. I
let's
mean,
not go into the who's who on time zones here. It's just,
I mean, I work all day every day, so it doesn't for me it doesn't really matter anyway. But yeah, no, sorry, not sorry.
but the thing is like, no, no, no. But it's
No,
it's
no,
collaboration.
yeah,
So
yeah.
some angels kind of suck.
This is an interesting
Yeah, some
discussion, by the
angels
way,
do.
about the whole when people are with too many, like they will go batshit crazy and start killing and stealing and stuff anyway. So I'm just thinking, isn't a city or a place like Midheim or the whole um, Lungadangar city, like, isn't that just doomed pretty much from the beginning? I mean, even okay. So in the back blurb of your book, I think one of the lines you wrote was Salem is about to find out what it is that makes us human. Isn't that also what makes us human? The fact that once we are with too many and we have a system that takes care of us too much, we become lazy fucks and we just want to be taken care of. Isn't that part of who we are as a species just as much as who we are by getting uplifted by, you know, changing the stars and finding our souls and growing our souls and nurturing it. And I mean, we are as good as we are bad, I think.
There's a reason a lot of those classic movies don't have sequels, because you don't want to see what happens afterwards. We like the idea of Pretty Woman, where the guy takes the prostitute and pulls her out and they have a happy life. The next movie is just them arguing over the cable bill and
And the
how much
dishwasher
dick
and
she used to suck as a
yes.
prostitute. It's there's sometimes you don't want to see what happens next, but you're very much right. It's like actually in book 2, it starts to become that. Like, he's seeing these people living on the land, but now that they're part of the city, you have to pay taxes. I am responsible for you. And like the reality of that situation, it becomes very apparent very quickly. And that's the whole crux of book 2. And it's, you hit a nail on the head. Like, so yes, the part of the human soul wants to like achieve and do great things and overcome great evil. But then what? It's kind of like once the roadrunner's been chasing, like the coyote's been chasing that roadrunner for so long, what does he do when he catches it? So you have to think what's the next step, and sometimes it's not a pretty step. Unlike that piece of art, which is very pretty. Sandy, describe your process.
What? Describe my process.
What?
Wait.
Well, this is an art stream. God damn it.
Do I need to draw and talk at the same time now? Jesus, that's over asking, man. I don't. Do I have a process? I don't know. I let the drawing like just happen. Basically, there is no. And maybe it's actually something you can notice here. Is like I've just been bullshitting along with the same brush. I'm just changing sizes and intensities, and I'm working my way through layers upon layers upon layers until it looks like something. I'm like, this looks okay. It is a process of chaos, I would say, and I always add to that, I thrive in chaos. So I think this is why we work together so well. It's that we both have a thing with chaos, like we understand it.
Funny side note, like not even related to the stream at all. For those who don't know, Sandy and I met on a Facebook author group. We became buddies, but we really bonded over the fact that we both played the same video game of Destiny. And she got me into her clan of Destiny people. I was a solo player, and then I got to hang out with these people. But I got to play with her, got to know her over the time, and then this project came from our friendship after a period of time. But she and I were playing the other day, and we were trying to run this one particular thing, and she's never done it flawless. And we're getting very close to finishing it, but she's like, she thrives in chaos by going,
this is how I deal with chaos. Just go, but then I'm okay. You need to let it out. I can shove it out. It doesn't work like that. It needs to get out. And
my character, I don't care about going forward. So I'm jumping in the way. I am jumping in the way of bullets to save her, so she could be flawless. Like, I'm the meat shield in this whole thing.
Yes, you were. There were just moments where I was like, okay, I'm gonna cry in this other room here in the back now, just so that I can stay alive. It is what it is. Yeah, thanks for the carry. But Crypto, little side note, I got to do Spire, my flawless run, and I got the bow. I'm so happy. Like, my life is fulfilled now.
I got nothing. I got nothing but a lot of death.
I got the bow. Yeah.
36. That was your 36th.
This was my 36th, yes. It was awful, and I will probably never run it again, except for maybe one time to get the catalyst for the bow. But I've already vaulted that thing. I was like, okay, I have it now. Vault, done. It was awful. Thanks. So yeah. Sorry, that was a super random thanks, but I just got tea, so that was a thanks to George.
Oh,
and
Crypto got her first run.
Online, so we can all type in George, but it's not going to do the thing again. I'm doing enough already. So, exactly. Also, by the way, what are we promoting here? We're promoting our IndieGogo project, which is going to launch in 2
that thing.
weeks. Yes. Do we have a link?
2 weeks in a day.
sandybutchers.com/technomancer, or type in !technomancer and make sure that you leave your email address, because once we have reached 50 subs on the IndieGogo pre-launch, I will be giving away a paperback of the Meet the Cast booklet, which is great. I should have had an example of it here, and I don't, so I'm so well prepared for the stream, which is actually ridiculous. You'll get a free book. But yeah, Let me see if I can actually put that into text right now.
I have one in front of the camera now.
Oh, you do! Ta-da! You're better prepared than I am. There we go. Pre-order the
Because it
illustrated
sits
Technomancer.
here.
Okay, talk us through the book. Talk us through the Meet the Cast book. What is it? What are we doing?
All right. So when Sandy and I were doing a lot of this pre-stuff because we wanted to do things, she wasn't going to do anything half-assed. So she started doing character study after character after character study. I thought it was just fan art. I thought it was stuff in the book. Nope, this is just her stuff for her thing. So when we started getting closer and closer to when we wanted to do this, we started making the Technomancer updates. We called the tit puns. And we started doing some art for that, art for this, and then eventually you had this idea of like, I want to put all this together in a little like booklet of like little factoids, like who this cast is, who they are, and
So let me
little
add
diagrams.
to this real quickly. I didn't make these drawings for the tit puns. I made the drawings because I was actually making studies of the characters I needed for the actual illustrations, and that, like, from one thing came the other.
Oh yeah, and we put them in the tit puns.
Yes, exactly.
But then she started just doing all this like really, really cool art, and it turned into its own little thing. So like, what if we put this as part of like our IndieGogo, so that it'll be at least in a PDF form, so everybody can have a little copy of like it kind of goes into like what we did and how we did it and what our ideas were, and some good, some bad. It's got some like original sketches that were like, hey, these are fantastic. Some sketches were like, this will never see the light of day, and it all worked.
Salem's turtleneck.
I was thinking Jensen. And it's like he looked like a
with the Sergeant Pepper's
the Sergeant Pepper jacket, and he looked like a paintball enthusiast in a marching band jacket.
Let me pull it up. I think there's not a single stream where I don't pull that one up. Hang on.
Crypto, this stuff looks friggin' awesome. It is. And the thing is, like, when I met Sandy, she had already been working on her stuff, the Singularian, plug, go buy it on Amazon. And it already had that cool cyber vibe that I was kind of like leaning into on my stuff. So when we talked about this, I'm like, you're like the perfect person to like, would you ever want to like illustrate? Because you already have, your head's already in that world. And she had read the book and she's like, well, yeah, let's do this. And it was just, it like peanut butter and jelly, or chocolate and peanut butter, whichever peanut butter I'm a peanut butter guy. It's got to be one of those bases.
So here, this is the comparison again. I'm just gonna do it again because it never gets old showing the first design for Jensen and then comparing it to what happens after.
Make it bigger. Show off that.
I'm working on it. So please pardon my low res. So this was the very, very first sketch for Jensen, and it's making me sad. No, this is just... You know what? Sometimes you just need to begin somewhere. You need to start somewhere, and I have no freaking clue where. I've got nothing to go on. And he's like... Also, hey, Bradley, welcome to the stream. And yes, he looks like a futuristic pirate. He looks like an absolute... ass, really, with his little Sergeant Pepper jacket. Like, this was almost... I think the day before I made this, I watched Kingsglaive, like the Final Fantasy 15 movie, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna inspire this guy, and I'm gonna start with something that looks like Nix Ulrich. And I think he actually does look like Nix Ulrich, and then whatever. It is what it is. And then I showed you this, and I remember you doing the... like, the response, it was like a yes but no. And then from there we got to work.
That's when I had to actually like go, well, because you've impressed me everything up to this point, and I had to like, okay, how honest do I have to be with her now? So I think I said I like the concept, but and then I gave you a few like spoilers to come, and it gave you an idea of where Jensen was as a person, and then you're like, okay, and then you took that and came up with this that previous sketch drawing, excuse me, of like with the scarf, with like the CNN correspondent like wrapped scarf and the flip over hair. I'm like, that is so much cooler. That is definitely the look. So,
but I mean, how often has that happened where I'm like, I start with something and then you give me one or two markers, or we spend like half an hour or a full hour just talking about the person, and then I don't know, something clicks, something happens, and then ta-da, there was your character. And I think there have been 2 or 3 characters that were just there pretty much at the like first try. I'm so excited I'm throwing
Right.
my pen around. But there were a couple of characters that were just they were a piece of work, and Jensen was just one of them.
Yeah.
Maz was one as well,
And,
actually. Maz took like 4 or 5 tries before I had him right because he wasn't the bulky, like broody guy. He was going to be happy and playful, but at the same time super mischievous. And he was going to be tall and strong, but he was not going to be like the tank. He was not going to be like an Arnold. So
no,
he
I
took a lot
imagined
of
him
work.
like to use modern, like, because this wasn't out when I wrote it, but or the first concepts, because I started writing this back in shit. Maybe it was. I don't remember. Like I was like 2008 when I first started to get the idea for this thing, and I didn't put pen to paper till like 4 years later, until 2012, and then I was trying to shop it around for a couple of years.
So the book is from 2016, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's when the book came out. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, like my first concept for this was in 2008 when I started like toying with the idea of being a writer, because that's something I've always wanted to do. But it's like I was always taught you can't do it unless you went to school for it and know the right people. You're never going to be a writer.
Are there
But like
even schools
the
to
internet's the
learn how to
internet.
write?
Well, no, but you take writing classes, you
Well,
take
yeah.
certain fellowships, you meet certain doctors, you get internships, you go to New
Mhm.
York and I don't know, juggle somebody's balls and you get a book deal. I don't know how it works. Uh,
No.
but
I'm just
then the
thinking,
internet.
I hear Deadpool in the back of my voice, in the back of my head, going, "I won't tell you whose balls you had to fondle, but it rhymes with Wolverine." Sorry, my brain is going crazy.
Yeah, very much so. But with the internet and the Amazon and the ebooks and Kindle Direct Press and all these other things that made things possible for people like me, like so it was all trial and error. So, long story short, to use a modern thing, a very tall Tom Hiddleston, a demonic Tom Hiddleston was more, which would be the best way to describe Maz, like that Loki, but with wings and mischievous and definitely sinister, and self-serving, So it all started kind of coming together when we kind of like wrapped our heads around this kind of look. Because Tom's like, for a skinny guy, he's got some muscle on him, and he's tall, dark hair, and lanky. Yeah, and it all started working. Also giving you like ideas of like you would say who would you imagine the person looking like? I give you a couple like famous stars, for example, to use as templates, and that really helped start like using those as models to like then bring the rest of the characters together.
Yes.
It really started helping. So
Yeah. I think that's also why most of these character studies work. Is like as a base model, they all have an existing person, and that's not me saying like I copy paste people, but because you have so many good references of how specific people's facial expressions work, like how a person laughs or smiles is has a lot of impact on what a person looks like in the end.
Well, but like again, that goes back to my visual style, because even though I read a lot, here's the thing: I read a lot in my younger days. These days, with my adult version of ADD, like I'm an audiobook guy. I am very much an audio. I have a hard time reading. It's just sitting down and like the words start becoming a jumble on the page after a while, and I start skipping, and it becomes a real pain in the ass. So audiobooks have been my jam for years. That's how I consume these days. But I'm always been a TV and movies guy because I love the stories, the visual element of a story. But the sad truth is, like, I want to be a writer, and isn't a visual medium, so it's all in the head. So I write as if I'm watching. I can't write a scene until I see it in my head. Until I've actually like played out the scene, I let the scene play out in my head, and then I write what I see. So I'm not the person who'll sit down and start typing away about, the light coming through the windowsill of the loam dreams of the blah 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 blah. I'm not that kind of writer.
We are writing movies. We're not writing books. We are writing movies. We're just
right. I see the TV show. I see the movie. I see the anime. I see
you see the camera
thing.
swaps. You see the scene switches. You see it all.
Like down to the point where it's like you end a chapter here is because that would be the end of this episode of Law and Order, and like or like so you move on to the next chapter. I think because while I'm aware of the product, I never read the books or played the game. But I guess some people would compare this to Shadowrun back in the day because that was like cyberpunk with fairies and elves. And I never
Mm-hmm.
played the game. I didn't read the books. A friend of mine says this is the best Shadowrun books I've ever read. I'm like, thank you. I don't know it. I know of this thing, but I never played those games or read those books. So in some ways, I thought I was being original. It turns out I was just reinventing a wheel that already existed. Yay! But this is my wheel.
Exactly. There's nobody else is taking credit for this. But I mean, isn't that what they say? Is like if you can come up with it, somebody else has already come up with it, so it's
Already
always,
has.
it's like there's
Well,
no.
that's the thing is like you also don't realize some of the things you look back on the past. Like for example, like one of my old graphic novels I have has like one of my favorites was something called Robert Kirkman, the guy who created The Walking Dead. Long before that, he had created a comic called Battle Pope, and it was like hell took over and the Pope became a superhero with superpowers and fought demons who lived in the world. And I guess that's tangentially related, but only that demons live in the world. But I guess obviously I don't have a Pope running around and beating up demons.
That'd be cool.
But so it's one of those like I guess it's a fun series, but it's one of those like, and I found an element or two that I had read way back in the day. I'm like, oh, I guess that's stuck in the back of my head. But I guess I'm paying homage to something I loved more than anything else because it inspired me to make my own stories. So, and that's the world we live in. We're constantly seeing like. You can trace. I mean, even like I said, Star Wars has got what was it? George Lucas was really inspired by. Was it Hidden Fortress, Forbidden Fortress, some Japanese black and white movie that it's very much. It has a lot of the same. It's a black and white Japanese flick that is like very Star Wars esque. So.
Yeah. I mean, we all have inspiration. I think you need inspiration. It doesn't matter where it comes from.
Yes.
I mean, you need the Kickstarter.
Yes.
You need fuel to. I don't know. Yeah. So what inspired you for the Technomancer? What was the main source of inspiration?
Like I said, I was Star Wars always because I love the mix. This is me, the mix of the technological next to the magical, or the futuristic with the spiritual. Like I love those two things blended together. I love pulp action, like style. I grew up like an 80s kid, so I loved like Thundercats and GI Joes and Transformers and Silverhawks, and I love these bombastic, bigger than life characters. And while I always remember them, there's certain scenes of some of those stories where it's like little side characters got a little like a real moment of humanity, and like that kind of stuff was always stuck with me. I mean, I watched the show Supernatural, and yes, I played Dungeons and Dragons, and all these geek things contributed to the Technomancer, but I can't ever like not pay homage to the original Star Wars movie because it was, like I said, plops you in a world and just says go, and that has been such a huge impact to my writing and my world. So, some people like modern Star Wars. I'm an old Star Wars classic kind of guy. So,
I get you're just old. You're an old guy. Sorry, too soon.
I'm older.
You're okay.
Well, no, I mean, I like some of the modern stuff, but it's again, I like it when it is, that kind of like Old West in space. I like that concept.
Are you a
we
Firefly
start like
fan?
I never watched. I think I watched 2 episodes and says I don't care. But that was unfortunately
this
back
was
in the day when it was on,
guys.
and it only
Our guest
lasted
is
like.
leaving.
Well, it's one of those like I'm sorry, like I don't have love for something that was like 12 episodes. Like everybody else. I watched the Serenity movie, but having not really watched all the show, like
Oh boy.
I hear everybody's like gushing about this
you either
thing, and
love
I
it or
like
you hate it, but really, Firefly is just.
I kind of nothing it because it was never really like like I said, I had friends that were like, this is the greatest thing that ever was, and I'm like, it's interesting, I kind of wanted to get into it, but then after I got killed after one season, I'm like, eh.
Yeah, that is the problem. But honestly, I mean, you love The Mandalorian, and I think The Mandalorian is it's the closest thing we've had to Firefly.
A spiritual successor, yeah.
Yeah. You at least seen shows like Hercules or Xena.
I grew up on those.
Xena. I watched Xena and an occasional episode of Hercules. And then,
Both of them. I watched them religiously.
crossed over, and that was fun as well.
I watch those shows religiously. Like, oh my God. Like you just, especially when you have someone like, I even have a chapter, I think, in one of these books. It might have been book 1 or 2. I think it was called Carl Urban is a Beautiful Man. I think it might be in book
It's
2
book
because
one, I
Carl
think.
Urban,
No, it's in book two.
I
Sorry.
don't remember it was in book 2 called chapters called Carl Urban was a Beautiful Man because that guy, I mean, I go back to my like days of Xena where he was both Cupid in Hercules and Julius Caesar in Xena, long before he was ever like a writer of Rohan or doing
Mm.
or uh, William Butcher in the Boys. So
Speaking of Riders of Rohan, you know what I'm gonna ask next.
mhm.
Okay, or at least you know what I'm gonna talk about next. What is, in your opinion, the best pun or reference to pop culture in book one?
God, you want to say the Riders of Rohan meet
Well,
Delta
of
Force?
course,
So
that is
that
definitely my favorite. But if it's not yours,
well,
then
because here's the thing,
which one
and
is?
here's the thing, that is well, it probably is honestly because I a lot of the stuff is off the cuff. Like, oh, for folks who don't know in the book, they make a lot of references, not a lot, but like a fair amount of pop culture references back to our era. And like I said in the earlier, the reason for that is because without a soul, people aren't making new movies. They're not making new music. They're living off old stuff. So old media becomes like collector's items to people. And so like they're watching, yeah, the news is still the news, but like
Mm-hmm.
old movies, so people know these type of things. Like I said, that's me being lazy because I didn't want to create 200 years of pop culture because I'm not that talented.
And
So
I don't think you needed that anyway, because I think how you refer to stuff from this world in this time, it gives it a layer of, I can relate to this. I know this stuff, and of course, there will be people outside of your target audience who are either too young or maybe too old for something. But for me, I think that was the link to the real world that I needed in this book to become part of it. So I think you
what
did great
I,
there.
I well, I appreciate that. I also knew my target. I did well. That's the thing. You use the word target audience, and that's the right thing because like I'm not writing to young people. If young people enjoy this, hey, cool. But it's usually like people like in the ages of like 30 and up or 28 and up, tend to because they get more of those references.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are ubiquitous and they come along. I think it's like I would love to like delve into like the early 20s market, but like they've been so MCU'd for the last like 10 plus years that like this would feel like a blip to them, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just being jaded, so
You're salty.
uh
No,
well well
so,
I don't
no, but
know.
I see what you're saying though, because yeah, I mean, the way Marvel has had a huge impact in modern pop culture. If not, if
Yes.
it's not like almost a monopoly in at least superhero culture, right? And they're no longer based on comics necessarily, or at least not in the younger generation. So all we hang on is the movies, and the movies are so fast and so high paced and powerful action
Yep.
and all these sculpted body people, like everything is perfect about them, even though we may highlight an occasional flaw that they have, but everything is way too perfect. And we
Right.
we have spoiled an entire generation, I think, with just by feeding them this kind of stuff alone.
To a degree, I wrote. Okay, so if you're ever bored and you want to see some stupid writing, go to my website, mkgibson.com, and you can see some of my blogs. And I wrote a piece back in 2016, give or take, right after Deadpool 2 came out, and it was me basically predicting the end of the superhero genre because you can only follow certain, like there's a time when westerns were all the rave, and when
Mm.
sci-fi had after westerns came sci-fi, and that lasted until like the action cop, and then after the action cop came in like 1999 2000 was X-Men, and from that
Mm.
point to now comic style but fantasy has always been the top seller. Like whenever you look back, except for Gone with the Wind, the top money, and Titanic, the money makers were
Mm.
always Avatar, ET, Star Wars. These are the
Yes.
things that like people have always, fantasy and fantastical things are what people are bonded to because these are our modern legends. These are our
Yep.
modern parables. These are our tales of Gilgamesh. These are our tales of like the books of Narnia or Harry Potter, etc. Are
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
open the worlds of the fantastic to people. Comic books, unfortunately, have become an industry, and the industry is becoming very formulaic. Like there's a Shazam movie that comes out tomorrow. I'll never see it till it comes to like HBO. Oh my God. I just now noticed that like the line.
Oh dear.
You're like on your stream. I don't know. It's on the backstage. I'm not. Yep, it's on the thing too. Launch prep for TECHNOMANCER with MK Gibson.
With what? Technomancer?
Sandy Butcher's launch prep for TECHNOMANCER.
Teachermancer. Oh, wow.
Just saw that.
Oh wait. Teachermancer. That's the dumbest thing ever. There you go. We secretly, guys, this is the stream to announce that we have started a new project. We are talking about the illustrated Teachermancer, and everything that we've talked about so far is not even related to that project.
I don't even see how many like subs we have in here now. But like at one point we had like 11 or 12, and I think it's probably like, are they going to teach me something? No. Now I'm leaving.
That might be the reason why we have so many people in the stream. Is like everybody's waiting for me to teach them something while I'm teaching them how to type, because apparently I cannot. Oh, Jesus, teach us something. No. I'm sorry, I will not recover from this. I'm just going to see myself.
Well, don't feel bad. King Bradley, do not feel bad, because we've been doing this for an hour and 11 minutes, and I just saw it. I was sitting here backstage for 20 minutes before the stream started, and I didn't even see it. So some editor I turned out to be.
Wow, you're a good guess. You don't even notice the stuff you're on. Wow.
I don't even know where I'm at half the time.
What am I doing? What year is it anyway?
Basically.
Yeah, story of my life.
But no, the Riders of Rohan was like, because here's the thing. I am, and this is really dumb, so stick with me. I am fascinated by the colors of brown and gold when they are against each other. That color palette makes me happy. So when I saw the Riders of Rohan in the Lord of the Rings are all in that brown and gold Viking style like garb, as opposed to the stupid winged penis helmets of the Gondorians in the Lord and the I hated that so much. Like that blue and silver is like so pompous, but like that earthy brown and gold colors of the riders with the wood longhouse and the steps of Edoras, like that shit. Like, it still sticks with me, and later when I watch the Ultra HD versions, like the UHD, like the colors are actually a little bit different. Like, oh, that makes me sad. But so when I created the guys of Midheim, like that is a direct thank you to Peter Jackson for making that specific look. So take Éomer, take Karl Urban and his Edoras and his riders, and give them assault weapons and tack gear, and that is the Warriors of Midheim. Like that is something that like it stuck with me. So like I wanted to like,
though, because I don't think I designed them with brown and gold color schematics. Like I made them blue. Let me pull them up.
No, you didn't have to. Like this is again, this is how it stuck in my head, and so that was the inspiration. I didn't have to like write it this particular way as a direct homage, but like that look, those people were my homage to like. And also, you're doing Valley and Vidar. Like they have their own unique look, being who they are as Norse gods. And even those guys were so much fun to write, because like when you're looking at Ragnarok, like what gods survived Ragnarok? There weren't a lot. So I picked a couple of my favorites that are like, and I just went with that.
I'm just so happy you chose Vidar, because he is my absolute. I don't know.
He's been one of my favorites since I was a kid, because he was the second strongest behind Thor. The guy who kills the Fenris wolf. The silent god. All that cool like mystique, like that character. Like I want that action figure. And turning him into a werewolf was just fun, because like you gotta. Like.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. No, I get that, and the entire character lends it perfectly for that. I think in the Meet the Cast booklet that we are giving away for free, by the way, as soon as we've reached 50 subs on the pre-launch page for our indie project, or our IndieGogo project. In that booklet, I actually reflect on who these characters are for me, and what makes sense, and that for Valley at some point. Like my starting point was, of course, like Robin Hood and Hawkeye and whatever famous archer we know from old mythology. But it took me about an hour when I was just looking at examples of Robin Hoods and Hawkeyes, whatever, when I realized that that's not going to do Valley justice. Like, these are Norse gods. They are not derived from anything. Everything else is derived from him. So he needed to be unique in every possible way. He needed to be a sci-fi hero, but there needed to be something medieval about him as well, and there needed to be something trustworthy in his eyes, but at the same time ferocious. Like, if this guy goes off, you're dead. But at the same time, if I'm sad, I need to be able to give him a freaking hug and all my sorrows will go away. So working on those two guys, like Vali and Vidar, for me as an artist was very interesting because, you know, again, like we talked about inspiration, and you always look for something to inspire, to kickstart the process of creation. But with these guys, there wasn't really any. Like, I had to dive into what these guys felt like rather than what I thought they would look like, which was interesting because most of the other characters really were based on visuals, and these two just weren't. If that makes sense.
No, very, very much so. I was reading Crypto's comment about the guy with the pistol and long hair reminds me of Johnny Silverhand from Cyberpunk. I think that was the image I flipped by. It was like one of the issues. It was one of the sketches of Vidar standing with the gun in his hand.
This one, yeah.
This one.
Yeah, it's on the screen.
No, not that one. This one I'm putting from the book.
Let me pull that one up. The bear.
Trying to get it in the light so it can be seen.
This one.
Yeah, that one.
No, that's not Johnny Silverhand. Johnny Silverhand is based on Keanu Reeves. This is not Keanu Reeves, is it?
No, I don't think so.
If anything, this guy's base model was Clive Stendon from Vikings, so Rollo.
Rollo.
He was. I think my starting point was Rollo here, but then Rollo wearing his tactical suit rather than a Viking butt flap, or well, yeah, I needed the fur, but there you go. I will never draw fur again.
See, before he was Rollo, he was what was that really bad King Arthur show that was on Stars? Might have been just called King Arthur, but he was Galahad. He was the one that taught them all how to fight, I think. But yeah,
I don't even know. I don't remember.
Oh, if you ever see it, if you have Hulu, it's on there. I think it's called King Arthur. It's actually it's what. Oh well, then you suck.
Oh, thank you. You too, sir.
You ain't got Hulu. You're a second world country. No.
We are a third world country now, aren't we? Oh Jesus. What is Hulu anyway? Is that like Netflix or?
Yeah, it's it's the green Netflix.
Okay.
Well, Netflix has got all the red and all that on their background. Hulu's all green. Okay. Hulu was one. Yeah, Hulu was like this one streaming service that basically gave out free TV for the longest time, and before they started diving into their originals. And actually, there's a lot of stuff on Hulu I really enjoy. A lot of cool shows. So. Watch the show V. I love like the original V. Oh my god, I grew up on that thing.
Yes.
Was her name Barbara? The one that ate the guinea pig scared the shit out of me. Also kind of turned me on. So I don't know what that tells you.
They did a remake with that with the one of the actresses from Firefly. Actually, what's her name?
It's the crazy eyes from McSwarley. That episode of How I Met Your Mother. She was also Vanessa. Or no, Deadpool's girlfriend. Damn it.
Yes, her. Oh God, what's her name? Isn't it like almost like an Italian kind of name?
Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. That's not it. Here, if only I had a device right in front of me that could tell me the answer.
Yeah, Marina Baccarin. There you go. Baccarin.
Yes. Marina Baccarin. Yes.
It's funny how this is again American versus European. I'm like instantly switching to this Baccarin, which is like Italian. You're like, yeah.
Baccarin, yeah.
Baccarin.
Oh, that's like what's the fan's name? You shoot him in. I can't. You always say it all
Oh,
Dutchy,
schuit maar.
and I apparently I'm.
Arthur, we're talking about you again. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's if it's written in Dutch, I will pronounce it in Dutch. Yeah.
The only Dutch one I know besides you, Floor Jansen from Nightwish. She is
And you're
amazing.
pronouncing it wrong. It's Floor Jansen. It's an ah. It's not an eh. Not everything is eh in America.
Oh Lord. Anyway.
Yeah. At least I can spell
Yeah, at least I can spell Technomancer.
It's
Thank you.
Whoosh. All right. I see how it is. I see how it is. You've got fans, Gabe. You've got fans. It's okay.
I got a couple. I'm very, very thankful. But so yes, for those fans, like 2 weeks from tomorrow, Sandy and I are going to be on a stream on YouTube called Red Valkyrie. They cover a lot of indie comic stuff, and they're friends of ours, and they also help promote a lot of IndieGogos. So
also,
that's where we're going to be.
Super vague. It'll be on March 31st.
Right. I was getting to that. That's fine.
Okay, it's okay. We're a team.
5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Which is like 10 for you, isn't it? So
It's gonna be
11.
super late. Yeah, I'm gonna take my beauty nap before that.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
No, you're not. But it's good.
No, I am. I know what it's. I mean, it's.
It's
I don't like staying up past 10 o'clock.
We did a day one raid, and that was. I went to bed at what 4? No, we're fine. This is fine.
Well, you did. I mean, that's why I love being in the time zone. I love playing Destiny with you European folks because I still have my evenings free. So.
Yeah. There was a lot of chaos. Let's not go. My PTSD is kicking in. Let's not talk about the raid.
Aren't we doing it again tomorrow?
We're trying to get a 6th.
I'm sure we can get a 6th.
Probably.
But my point is,
yes, let's go on.
Yeah, I'm sure we can. Yeah.
March 31st,
Yes.
Red Valkyrie.
But
Let's go.
March 31st, 5 o'clock, Red Valkyrie is the YouTube channel, and we will go live and be talking there, hyping and doing all these things. And one of us, Sandy and I, will hit the damn button for us to go live on the IndieGogo. Now, why is this important? If you all back it, you pick up, like, I want this particular package for it, and if we reach our small goal of $500 of funding within the first 24 hours, then that'll put us on IndieGogo's front page. And that's a very good thing for a small campaign like ours. So it means we were funded in under a day, and it puts us up there and gives us more eyes on. Sandy and I were talking because Melinda brought up a very good point when she was asking questions like, hey, if I buy this particular tier where I get the book and I get all the extras, can I get another book? And the way it was built before was you could not. But so Sandy and I said, what are we going to do? Make add-on tiers so you can get additional books if you want as gifts or for your own copy, etc., with additional signed plates. What was the other part we were going to bring up?
Do we want to talk about the gifts sets?
Yeah. I mean, because there's this group here, they can talk about it, and we'll put it out later in the tip fund. They just get a sneak peek, I guess.
True. It's a reward for watching, but I mean, you wanna say what's the idea?
No, go ahead.
No, because I'm focused. No,
I know.
No. So we're also thinking of as an add-on. Sorry, my chair is on a cable. Hang on. It's a mess. Of doing like a gift set, so people might want to buy that for themselves, or you can buy it for someone else. But a gift set, just to give it to someone. It'll give you all the essentials. It's almost like an in between the ultimate set and like the tier 3 set. But you can only get it as an add-on because there's obviously going to be a couple of things different from the original tiers because again it's an add-on. Yeah, it's cool stuff. It'll get you the book. It'll get you signed book plates. There will be some form of art print in there. Don't know what else. Yeah.
So for those who are curious, if you haven't seen the updates or just curious or you don't really care, we're just filling time anyway. So we currently have 4 tiers. Tier 1 is your name. So at back at it, I think it's $5. You get your name put into the book in a special thank you section, and a copy of the PDF of this booklet of the Meet the Cast thing. So you'll at least have a little PDF you can look at, and your name will go in the book. Tier 2, signed book plates, and a black and white art print, your name in the book and in the PDF, and I think that's $10. At Tier 3 is where it jumps up to $30, but that's the price of the book on Amazon. We are going to send you that book, bypassing Amazon altogether, and everything backwards. So you get the hardback book, the black and white print, the signed book plates, and a copy of the PDF. The Ultimate
and mind
Edition.
You, these book plates are signed by hand. They're not going to be printed with our signatures on it.
No.
They
so
will have traveled from Europe to the US.
Thousands of miles. So
exactly.
I'll sign a bunch. She'll sign a bunch. Then we mail the copies to each other and sign the other ones, and we mail them out respectively to wherever they're going in the world.
Yes.
It's going to be a pain in the ass logistically, and hopefully we don't get this screwed up in transit.
Imagine the mail losing the box of your signed plates. You're like, fuck, now I have to sign 100 again.
Right. And then the ultimate set is you get the black and white print, the hardback book, the PDF, the book plates, and 3 color illustrated. It's not, these are set in as examples, but there will be 3 prints that are not in the book. There will be 3 full 6x9 size prints that are not in the book, and they'll be mostly exclusive to this campaign. And Sandy, are you selling some of these at conventions potentially? But it'll be a very limited run, so it'll be a limited collection of these prints.
Oh no, these prints are actually they're going to be exclusive to the book. Like what I'm selling at conventions are going to be different prints.
All right,
so
even better. So
super exclusive.
So exactly. So, and I think that we said that was that 40. I want to say.
No, let me.
Or is it 50?
Let me check.
I'd have to look.
Let me check.
The long story short is, like, if you were to buy the book from Amazon, it's either $30 or $35 for a hardback book, and that's how you have to, like, unfortunately, that's the price that you have to set it for hardbacks, and you would just get the book. But by backing IndieGogo, at least Tier 3, you'll get the book from us cheaper,
it's 50.
and your name is going to, and your name will be in the book itself as a special thank you section. So that's contributing to us and doing this right. That way, you're in perpetuity. Like, as long as this book is sold, if you backed it, your name will be in there in the special thank you section. So, and that means the world of Sandy and I that you would even entertain like this silly fever dream of ours. So,
have we talked about the stretch goal, the 100 books stretch goal?
No, we have not. So Sandy has said that, like, if we can sell just 100 books, if that's how you want it in there as King Bradley, I will put it in there as King. We'll make sure it goes down as King Bradley. But that's the thing is, like I guess we have to build that in. What name do you want to be known as?
And do we do King Bradley or the King Bradley? There's a difference.
My liege. Well, the other thing I think we have to put in there is, like, no, I don't mind profanity, but nothing offensive. So just I don't want some. Yeah. So.
But anyway.
There's one guy who had me sign his book at a convention this past summer as "Fuck You, Joel." So, because that's how he's known at these conventions, so people know him as "Fuck You, Joel." So that's how I was. No, all right. So all fuck right, you, Joel. Well, thank you very much. You know. But so if we can sell 100 copies, I think that's total between Amazon and the IndieGogo, but hopefully more on the IndieGogo side. Sandy has agreed to do book 2, Flotsam Prison Blues, and I need this to happen because I have so much cool art I want to see, because I wrote this thing again many years ago and I want to see this shit come to life. So I need your help in making this happen.
Wait, I promised me if you sell 100 copies, she would make me a picture of just for I do what? It would make you, yes. Yes.
All the fur, yes.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? I have new brushes. I have fur brushes now. I can just automate this stuff. It's
no, I want handcrafted fur, Sandy.
Nothing manual about it anymore. I have brushes. I can do that. But yeah, so 100 copies, and we'll do book 2. So yeah, you gotta help us out, guys. You gotta sign up on the pre-launch, and then of course you gotta back us on launch on the 31st of March. And of course, if you sign up on a pre-launch, you will get an actual notification when we are going live, so you won't be able to miss it.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, help us out. Help out starving artists. This is the
Yeah, we
begging
want to be
part that we
well
talked
fed.
about at the beginning of the stream. But yeah, yeah, it never gets easy.
No, it doesn't. But that's fine. I mean, it's one of those scenarios like we talked about earlier. Like, um, there's a lot of great creators in the indie spaces that I'm fans of and friends with that make incredible work all the time. And yes, we would love you to back ours. Also, just consider backing other people because there's just a lot of cool stuff out there that
Mm-hmm.
whether that's a comic or a movie or things like that, a lot of these smaller productions put a lot more heart into it. And say what you will about the Marvel movies, like over time, like they've become an industry. And like I haven't really enjoyed a lot of the last ones because it's kind of more of the same. And I like to step outside of that box once in a while just for myself. And I can't tell you the last mainstream audiobook I bought. I like the ones that have a little quirk to them because it's like someone else is trying something a little bit different. It doesn't always land. It's not always perfect. There might be a mistake or two, but it feels almost more pure. And that's really me blowing smoke up the ass, but it feels true.
Yeah. There's a question in chat, by the way. I just saw
Oh,
it
what's
pop
up?
up. What do we say about the gift bundle? What do you want to know about the gift bundle?
Oh, what's in it? Probably. It
Yeah,
would be
and
the
I think
book.
the most important part is that the gift set, like I said, because it is an in between tier 3 and tier 4. So it will be cheaper than a tier 4, but it will be a bit more expensive than
Actually, it's between
2 and
two and
3.
three
Sorry,
because
yes, I'm being dumb here.
yeah.
So it'll be cheaper than a tier 3, but it'll be just a bit more complete than a tier 2. But
It's
as
here's the thing.
it's
It's an add-on, and that's
yeah,
just
so
want to make
you
that
need
abundantly
to
clear.
buy at least a tier 3, I think. And this is where we go. Like, the details, we are working out details as we go, but it's a
Yeah.
conditional purchase. So you need to buy at least one of the other tiers in order to be able to order a gift
Right.
set, if that makes
I
sense.
want to say I think it's tier three. So when you buy the book, some people want to have the option to get
Yes.
like because tier three is where you get the book. That's the $30, and we
Mm-hmm.
set that as a reasonable price because you're getting more for that than you would by buying it through Amazon.
Yes.
By buying that tier, you have the option of doing an add-on, which would be either just another book with a book signed book plate,
Mm-hmm.
or the basically the gift bundle, which I think is a book, a signed book plate, and an art print.
Yes.
Um, so you can here's another little collection of things you can again give as a gift bundle to give to
Yeah,
somebody
and
else.
I think we said
Um,
that instead of the black and white book print, then it's going to have a full color print, art print. Sorry. So there's like small
oh, is
differences.
it
Small,
okay?
yeah.
Okay.
So, but that's also why I said like the details on that.
Oh,
We
well,
will
thank you.
definitely dive into that in one of the tit puns that's coming up. So, like, even if we're a little bit vague still at the moment, it's because we're in the process of setting that stuff up still. So
Oh,
just be sure to
I
keep
I
an eye on
want
the
you all to know
mailbox.
this. I want to make this abundantly clear up front.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a money making scheme for Sandy and I. A
Oh no.
lot of the stuff, because there'll be shipping and handling involved, so a lot of our profits are going to go into the shipping. We're tacking on a little bit of shipping and handling, which you would see on the IndieGogo. Sorry, that's just how it has to be. But we're going to be eating a lot of the costs on shipping and handling. What's left over is being divided up because Sandy needs to get some paid for all her artwork. Um, this is not a this is a labor of love. This is we want to put something cool in the hands of cool people, and that's really what it boils down to. So when someone came to us like, hey, I'd like to get another book, but I don't necessarily want to create another account to do this whole thing over again, like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
that's a brilliant idea and we should have thought of that. So we hem and haw constantly, like, what is the most value for the people without bleeding because it's like, I know what I work for my money, you work for yours, and what you spend it on as your business, but we don't want to take more than we absolutely necessary. We're trying to do this at the most cost effective so we still have enough of resource funds to mail things out worldwide to wherever the hell they're going to make sure you get what you want.
I'm just giving some love to chat at the same time because a lot of nice things
I'm
are
yeah, I
being
see
said.
it. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I mean, still, it's truth. I mean, I don't think unless we start selling thousands of copies, this stuff is not going to make us rich. So and
No,
like you said,
no.
we are not in it to be rich. This is just a dream project that escalated, and and here we are.
Because that's when I saw like I said, when I saw Sandy's, like we became friends, like through that author. When I saw her Singularity and stuff, um, I reached out to her. It's like, this is pretty cool, but like, is there a way I can just like kind of buy something direct from you? So I can like, cause I don't have tons of cash to like throw into like a whole big project like that. And you sent me like some PDF of stuff and it was really dope. And I love the art and I love the story and I love the style of it. And I was like, it was also like, once I got into it, I'm like, I want to steal her talent and abuse her and make her work for me, or work together. So how do I do this? And so when you started reading the Technomancer, you gave me my first piece of artwork. I'm like, I think I found an in, and like, it just happened to work together. I think it's because from a place of respect. I think, you know, I think it was respect. I don't know. Let's go with respect. You know,
Respect? What? I mean, this is when you started playing Destiny. You've been pretending to play Destiny all along. Like you're still a blueberry, but you used that as an excuse to start talking to me to, to sort of.
you listen here and you listen well. When you made fun of that hand cannon of mine or whatever gun I'm using, you can knock that shit off, you elitist snob. I'm playing on your PCs. Okay, I play for fun and I play with heart.
Careful. Crypto is also on PC, so.
No, Crypto's cool. Crypto hasn't made fun of my guns.
Oh, you mean the funnel web? Are we still?
Or you're like, no. We were playing when we were playing the Spire. Like, did you bring malfeasance on purpose? And I'm like, yes, it's my favorite gun.
You were just
asshole.
trying to snipe stuff with the malfeasance. Like that's not really a long range kind of cannon, dude. But oh no, that wasn't even Spire. We were doing a master duality, and you were
funny.
Shit
who died 5 times and who didn't? Who sniped from a distance because the 5th shot creates explosion damage and killed those snipers that saved your ass? Who was that?
Not me.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Master duality is no joke. Then again, it wasn't funny.
It got patched anyway. Now you can't cheese it.
You can. You can probably.
No, they just patched it, didn't they?
What did they patch? How did they patch it? You can only do the boss once.
You can't cheat. You can't shoot. Yeah, you can't reload into checkpoint after cheesing that boss.
But is it a permanent fix? Like you cannot join someone on that's just dumb. I saw a couple of memes come by due to an issue. We have deleted that boss from the dungeon because nobody can farm it anymore. And I was like, you know what? That sounds like the bungo thing to do. Due to people having fun with the game, we decided to delete the game.
Yeah, we wanted you to join us yesterday, Crypto, but we couldn't find you. So
yeah, somebody was chilling. Imagine chilling on your evening.
Bullshit.
Get a life. Start doing something.
But yeah, so like this project has been we're getting closer and closer, and trust me, Sandy and I have had many a conversation of like, oh shit, is this even going to work? Are we going to do this? Are we going to pull this off? You know, like, well, we're going to sell something to somebody. I just maybe not as much as we have talked. We've both been on super high highs and super low lows.
Oh yeah.
So
it's not
it is. We'll see what happens when it happens. And the thing is, like, the folks who have been loyal and folks have been like, just like, hey, I'm interested and I'm curious. And like, even if it's someone who's like, hey man, here's $5. Put my name in the book. Give me that copy of that PDF, and I wish you well. I mean, that still means the absolute world to us,
sure.
you know. I mean, here's the thing: like Sandy's books are still out there. My books are still out there. Our other work still stands on its own. So this is something like this is something where it feels special between you and I because like as I'm a very amateur artist, you are a professional one. So when I show you a stick figure, like that's nice. Here, let me make it nice actually. But you see
the 8 out of 10. Do this to make it a 9 out of 10.
Yes.
The other day, sorry, that was just funny. It's just I don't know. It's a polite way of saying it's good, but it can be better.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with that. This is good, but it can be better. Is how like because I don't when I bring my art to you, my legitimate art, I'm not doing it. I don't want a pat on the head. I'm doing it from like I go to the mechanic. My car's not working. Like make it run. You're the professional. Tell me how to make go, and I do that. Like that is like almost like in a mentor type way. Show me what I could do better, you know. And that's for a reason, you know.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I
always... Well, it's like you had me look at, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Like when I've looked at some of the writing stuff, like what would you say about like your time in the military? Would this work? I'm like, I would say I would fix this, and this because that way it would have a more militaristic feel to it. Stuff like that.
You know what? That story
That's
actually
what
won an
friends do.
award. Did I tell you?
No.
It
Oh wait a
did.
minute. No, you said you were up for, you went to awards section,
Yeah,
but I didn't know
so
it was for that
it
piece.
didn't win here in the Netherlands, but it won an award in the L. Ron Hubbard Fantasy Writers of the Future.
Say that
Writers of the
again,
Future
please.
Award.
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard, whatever.
Hubbard.
He's a big guy. He's a big name. Whatever. He's
Oh,
got,
I know who L. Ron Hubbard is.
I don't know who the no, I do know, but I mean. He's got like this prize for the writers of the future, and I submitted that story to there, and it won an award.
Oh,
So
thank you, Autumn Ray. I noticed that they put their through Kafer's audiobooks. Forgive me because I'm old. Which I'm not necessarily asking you for your real name, but have you been on like some of the other? Do I know you from another username, or have I just forgotten it?
what you mean? Who is Autumn Ray?
Yes,
That's our Schuitema.
that's it. Okay,
There it
Scott,
is.
that's it. Thank you. I'm dumb. I'm old and dumb.
No, you're not. I mean, you're old, but you're not dumb. Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's debatable. That's right. It's so many damn handles and names. I have a hard time getting with them. But no, thank you. She had said that she found my audiobooks here and then found you through that. So that's just a cool like. Oh, I missed it. I was on the phone. It's fine.
You didn't miss much. We were talking about your name again.
I'm old and dumb.
Now we were saying thank you, so you actually came in at the exact right moment. Look at them walking so romantically into the sunset. Look at these guys. Look at these fellas.
Yeah, look at that. Like, so you got what we said roughly in between 90 minutes to 2 hours, and you've got a long way to go. So I don't think you're going to finish this one.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Which is good. Which is good. Like, always leave them wanting more. Like, those who know the book know this final scene. So, this is we picked this one.
Business though.
Don't rush
if I have
work.
Not been exactly if I've not been rushing and things are taking extra long, it means we've had a good chat. So that's good.
Yes.
I'll take that. I kind of want to finish it, but I know that we're not going to be streaming for another hour. So let's wrap up on the shadows, and then we can start wrapping up in the stream.
Yeah, I think so.
I want to get the shadows.
And I will say in real life, my family got home like 30 minutes ago. So.
All right, there we go. So this basically you saying, well, I gotta go. Hurry the fuck up with this drawing. All right.
And so many words. But I do love them. It's my wife and son, so they're good people.
All right. Well, lucky.
Now turn that shadow into Batman.
Is it? He could.
Turn that.
Could just as well.
Yeah, kind of has. I see that one little swirl on the one side, like turn it into Batman.
Yeah.
Just.
Oh, and then with little. Oh yeah. Oh shit. You should be careful if this book becomes a thing, and then DC is gonna call us. Go. You gotta remove Batman from page.
Exactly.
Like what Batman? You're like this Batman. You're like what? That's grim, man. Whoa, what's happening in the chat?
Oh, Angela, I was saying. Discover the audiobooks through the Shadow Master. I was actually working on book 5 today. The Cave as a Lie will eventually get on audiobook. Jeff, it didn't work out with Jeff on this particular book for a variety of reasons, and it's no real fault. So I have to hunt for a new narrator. I put a few hooks out there, and I'm trying to see what I can pull in before I want to make sure I get a good narrator to do this one. It would be a fun one. Shadow Master still going forward. The Technomancer prequel books, the Hammer of Witcher books are still being done. I'm also writing book 3 to that one right now as well. And so Shadow Master's, he's one of my favorites too. The stuff I'm writing right now, you guys, poor Jackson. I can't wait for you guys to read this one or hear the audiobook, because the shit that he's doing and the dumb stuff that's coming out of my mouth is like, this has been so much fun. It's freaking gold. So do I have those? Do I have those in hard copies? The Shadow Master books in hard copies. I haven't put them in hard copy. I could, I just never did. I didn't know because the paperbacks don't sell as much as like the ebooks or the audiobooks book do. I could have them made up and put them in there, but it yes, I could. It you might be the only person that owns one, so
Collector's item. I feel like giving some spoilers. Accidentally given to. Oh, they already understand how this works. I feel put in the
actually,
spotlight. I feel
I
called
have
out.
given some spoilers to Sandy. See, the thing is, like, if you've read book, she hasn't read book 5 yet, so she doesn't know what happens either. So don't give her any spoilers.
This is mean.
And I don't mean that in a negative. I don't mean that in a negative way. She's been rereading the same book like 9 times over to look for scenes for this stuff. So I
Look
don't
at all
fault
my
her for having
post-its.
not read.
This book is going into my closet with all the labels, and they will be in there forever. Just hey, Envy, you just came in.
Hey man, how you doing?
Thanks for joining. We were just showing the fringe of the book, all the epic stuff that's happening in Technomancer. This is my collector's item. Like I will never take these out. And the same is gonna happen for.
No, you shouldn't.
You know what? There's one drawing that I really look forward to in a very sick, twisted way for book 2. That's the scene with the hook.
Oh yeah, like without a doubt, like that's the scene. Like in the original cover that I had the one guy do that I got rid of shortly thereafter. But it was like the 2 flesh golems putting Salem down, and the front of the cover was just the hook was in the foreground, Salem was in the background, on his knees looking up at it, and that was the cover of the book. And it came across very horror-like, and I assume that's why I didn't sell copies. So.
That's why the book didn't work. Shit. Oh man. Ready for book 5. See, you gotta chop and work.
Okay, so that is July. He is recording that in July. Kafer is a very busy man. He's recently remarried. He's living his best life. He's building a little empire. Him and his wife are both narrators, and they're doing fantastic together. But I'm on his docket for mid-July for Technomancer 5 to be recorded. And even though the book's not finished yet, I'm already on his schedule for September for Villain's Return, Shadow Master Book 5. Just throwing it out there.
Cool. There's a lot of work being done here on both your side and on my side as well. So we are busy.
Well, you're like, you've got 92 jobs. Like that's the thing. Like
and 91 are for you.
No,
that's not true. That's not true. 90, and then there's 1 for crypto. So at this point, yeah. No, you know what?
You read book 5 then, Melinda? Yeah, there. What? Oh,
there is. Yeah.
I was reading chat as it goes by.
Yeah, me too. Like because I finished my shadows. I'm like, I'm gonna stop drawing. Otherwise, I will be finishing this thing up. But
oh yeah. You'll be tinkering and tinkering. Sorry you joined late, Envy. We were actually gonna really like wrap up. It wasn't like, oh, hubby hasn't got it. Okay. Yeah, that's Now did you dive into the Hammer of Witches books? I put everything back. By the way, I put everything back on Kindle Unlimited. I had taken hits for a while. I'm like, well, some money's better than none. So I put everything back on Kindle Unlimited. I'm like, I don't care. Just if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's all there for free. So,
cool. So
read away. I get some payment for it, and that's some's better than none. So
this is again the begging.
What's that?
The begging and
oh, it is 100%. Like I would love to present myself as like, oh well, I'm like, no. I am fortunate that like I have other income coming in because I am not living on the writing. The writing
same.
helps.
I mean,
the writing
there's a
nice.
reason I have 91 jobs is because I still cannot make a living from art. I wish I could. On the other hand, you know what? I mean, I told you the other day that I'm really pushing to get 1 drawing out every day. So I finish 1 of these line arts and then finish them into a shaded piece every day. There are. Let's just call it 40 drawings in this book. And then add to that all the drawings I made for the characters, another 40 for the character studies we did for the Meet the Cast booklet, so that's 80.
Yep.
Add to that all the sketches that we've thrown away, that we've archived because they weren't exactly it. I think by the end of the ride I will have done 200 drawings easily. If I had to do this as my regular job for the rest of my life,
I couldn't
I'm not
afford you.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would. I don't know. I mean, I love the idea that in about a month the production of this is done, it's finished, and I will have a couple of months just easy, chill, not much. Um, yeah, there. This is my first world
Okay.
complaint.
No, I trust me, I get it. Like I want to get to the point where I can crank out 4 books a year, but it's the time. But I want to make sure it's quality. So I'm almost done with these 2 that I'm writing now, and I'll jump into Technomancer 6 and Kevin too, and because I have other series I want to tackle, but I need to close some of these guys out first. So, and Technomancer will be at least 7 books, and I think it's the same with. Well, I think Jackson might only be 6. I was originally thinking 7, but I think I might be able to finish this in 6, which sucks. And the Hammer Witch books will be 4, and I eventually have to write a sequel to some people actually really, for some reason, they like the Agents of Mortal book, and like I don't know why. It's fine, but it worked as a standalone, but they want a sequel. So
Angelo is on a roll here. First he's saying that I cannot take a couple of months off, and now he's saying you should do more books. All right, I see how it is. Well, on that note, if we gotta work more and
Yes.
I cannot take a break for months, at least I'm gonna take a break for a couple of hours.
Yes, do
So
that.
let's call it. Let's wrap it up.
I think so. So everybody, if you have not signed up, hit the little exclamation. You put it back. Put the link in there again, Sandy, so they can see it.
Again. Everybody can do it themselves. They can just go exclamation Technomancer, and there we go. Or the easy way, if you want to have the cool intro, there we go. I will give you another link. Oh wait, what am I doing? There. This one will give you a super flashy, really nice intro, and then it'll put you into the IndieGogo. This is the fancy link for fancy people. But yeah, we're looking at 50 subscribers for the pre-launch. So once we've reached 50, I will be giving away another one of those paperbacks with the Meet the Cast books. The thing you have there. Do you still have it? You like flashing screen?
Yep, always right here.
Cool. So we'll be giving away another one of those. We still got a couple more to go. Not that many really. So spread the word. Give the link to your friends. Spam everybody with it. Put it on your socials. Put it on your email. Send it to your boss. I don't care. Just force feed it down.
That is how the indie world works. It's like if you enjoy something, like you have to beat your friends over the head with it, and then if they don't like you, then get new friends and beat them over the head with it. Because that's how this shit works. Like, so sometimes you get a flash in the pan and some people get lucky, and that just comes down to like, hey, there's a million voices out there, and the internet let it be so we're all begging for attention. So we apologize for the begging aspect.
Speaking of attention, I think Angelo, you're talking about the art print. It's not there yet. I hope it is.
Where am I? Well, speaking of that, sadly, no. Oh,
sorry, you were saying.
No. I was reading I was reading Angelo's message there, so that sucks. Okay.
Yeah, horrible. Angelo, I'm gonna send you a new one because whatever, this stuff gets lost in the ether or somewhere. Like nobody knows what happens where it mail services right now. I will send you another. Please send me. Can you just drop me a quick message in Discord to get the addresses sorted again, so that I can double check if it's done right and everything. But I will get you an art print for sure because you won that fair and square. Took forever, but you got it. No, don't. This is not you. This is mail services. So please don't apologize. We'll get it sorted.
Sandy sent me a cool postcard. It was Technomancer characters for Christmas. I never got it. So
stupid. You got my cheesy Christmas wishes, like my Christmas greetings, and you'll get them next year Easter.
Yeah,
They're
basically.
like, happy 2023. You're like, it's been 84 years. Yeah.
I've been dead for like for 9.
On your funeral. We'll get the cards with the Christmas wishes for 23. Perfect. All right. Guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been a blast.
Yes, thank you so much.
For being here again as well. It's always fun to have you around.
We appreciate it. Yep.
And yeah, everybody subscribe, and we'll be seeing you on the next stream, which hopefully, which probably is going to be the live stream on Red Valkyrie. So keep an eye on
March
the
31st.
Yes.
Red Valkyrie on YouTube. Like here,
Yes.
pay attention to our socials, our Twitters, our Facebooks. That's
And
where we
tit
contact
pun.
a lot of
Subscribe
people.
for the tit pun.
And the tit pun. We will put everything out there, so please
Yes.
join us there, because when we go live, you'll be in it at the moment. You'll know,
Yes.
blah blah blah. So
Lots of awesome stuff coming. All right, guys. Thanks, and see you later.
thank you all very much. Take care.
Bye.